So now we go straight to the next part of the video, and then so we are going to discuss about the HTML attributes. So just like what we know attribute to be, it's like something that gives more details a about something, like more or less, like for example like an adjective that describes a noun. So its attribute, its words, like what gives us more details about our HTML elements. So all HTML elements can have attributes. So you can see they said HTML attribute provide additional information about HTML elements. Just see it as like an adjective to a noun. So however, in HTML now, the attribute is like an adjective to the HTML element. So it gives us more information about our HTML elements. So HTML attribute provides additional information about HTML elements, and then all HTML elements can have attributes. Just like all your noun can have attributes, so your HTML element can also have attributes. So it provides additional information about elements. Attributes are always specified in the start tag. Yes, you know, like in our grammatical construction of English language, you know, if you want to have your adjectives, it always comes before the noun. So something like that in the HTML element. So the attribute is always in the start tag. So which means that if I want to give this paragraph, this the paragraph element, if I want to give it an attribute, so the attribute is going to be written here inside the start tag. So let me give an attribute like a style. So we are still coming to that anyway, but I'm just trying to show you how we can give an attribute. So the attribute is going to be here in the start tag, and then you can see they are always specified in the start tag. Then comes in name value pairs. This is what they are trying to tell us. Like this is the name of the attribute, which is style, and so this is the value. So the name and the value are always in pairs. So this is how it is being structured in HTML. So you have the name. So for instance, this one, the name is style, while the value is going to be inside this quotes. So let me give you a value like let's say color. Then I give it color is going to be red. So I'm doing an attribute. So now it means what we are trying to say here is that the color. So we've given this paragraph an attribute. So now the whole of this paragraph now will now change to red because we've specified red to be the color of the whole of this paragraph. So if we go straight to our browser, so I reload the page, you can see now the whole of this paragraph has turned to red because of the attribute that we've given to it. So now let's go back. So then after attributes, there is something else which we need to also talk about, which is the href attribute. The href attribute is very, very important in HTML. It's like it always comes, say the anchor tag, which is the a tag, defines a hyperlink. However, the href attribute specifies the URL of the page that the link goes to. If you remember in our last video, we talked about this a tag. We now said for every a tag, so let me just give an a tag here. So a tag means it's like it means anchor tag. It's very popular in HTML. So now the href attribute, because we are treating href attribute separately because of the importance that goes with it. So I just say https://w3school.com. So if you copy this and you put it, because don't forget your attribute is always in the start tag and always comes with name and value pair. So this is the name. The name of the attribute is href, which is the href attribute. Then this is the value. The value is like what is inside the attribute itself. So now I'll just say, let me put the content inside this element. This visit W3 schools. Let me write it the way they write it. So if I just save it, I come back. So if I reload my page, you can see visit W3 school. So if I click on it, it's going to take me straight to the W3 school page. You can see that's the beauty of it. So now let's move on. The Src attribute. So these are just like the popular attributes that you always more or less come across in your while you are writing code. So the Src attribute, so this is like the source. In our last video we also explained it. We said it means the source, because that's the full meaning of Src, the source attribute. So and it always comes with the image. So it's used to embed an image in an HTML page. This img tag, while the source attribute specify the path. So I'm not saving it. So the path to the image to be displayed. So if I have image, I just write Src equals to, so let me try this again so that you can see one of the things you can also explore with your Visual Studio Code. It only give you suggestion, so your editor already know that okay, this is probably what you are trying to write, so it give you suggestion. Just click on enter, so you don't have to write everything in full. So now the next thing, just for me to put the source. There are two ways whereby you can add path to your image. It can be done offline, it can also be done online. If it is done offline, that means you have it saved inside the folder, and this is what they employ here. So this is already saved inside the folder, so I'll just call it, I'll just say src equals to img.jpg. So you just copy the path, the image path is going to be inside this quotation. However, you can also have it online, so which is what I'm going to do now. So let me try and show you example how you can do the two. So the online is, let me just say, okay, this is let me show you a Nigerian flag. So I'll copy, no, let me click on images. So I'll click on, this is a Nigerian flag. So then I'm going to copy the image address. So if I put it inside here, oh wow, this is very long. So let me save it. So if I reload it, you can see. So you now have the Nigerian flag on the page, green, white, green. It's a very simple flag, green, white, green. So if I want to have it offline, so that in case if I don't have internet, so I just, first of all, I save the image. So I now save it inside the folder. So this is the silicon. Okay, I think I have this inside the desktop. So HTML silicon gist. So I save it inside there. So it's already saved inside the silicon gist folder. So instead of me to copy the whole of this URL, which is very long, it doesn't necessarily to be this long, because you can have a part that is not as long as this. So don't be confused. So however, so I just, what I need to do now is just to copy this path. So the path is download.png. So I just say download.png. That's the beauty about Visual Studio Code, VS Code. So to give you a suggestion, so I already just put the suggestion there. So if I save it now, so I go and check back, I click on it, you can see I have the image. Perhaps you may be confused, maybe you don't know that something has happened there. So let me use another image. So let me give you an image of Nigeria map. This is the map of Nigeria. So I'll just say save image as, I've saved it. You see, I save it on the silicon. I make sure I'm using the right folder. Yes, so it's already here. So if I have Nigeria administrative map.jpg, so if I reload it, then the map of Nigeria is out. So you now see the beauty, so how you can use the Src attribute. So you can see, I think I will be able to show you how you can do that offline and online. So now said we have, there are two ways to specify the URL in the Src attribute. I think this is what we just did. The absolute URL, which is the online, then the relative URL, which is using the offline approach. Then you can also have the width and the height attributes. That means you are trying to specify the width. For example, for an image tag, you specify the width and the height. So then you can try. So let me try an example of that. The thing is that you need to understand if your HTML element can have more than one attribute. So now, because here we have the Src attribute. So if I want to add another attribute, so I just put space in between so that they will not wobble together. So I then write maybe the width and the height, but the width and height dey always comes under your style. So most times, because that's the best practice, then you can also use it straight anyway. If you don't want to have it inside your style, so I just say the width, let me have it to be, let's say 200. I think that would be too much. Let me use 100 pixel, 100 pixel. Then the height to be, let's say, let me just give it 80 pixel. Pixel mean picture element, so it's the unit that we are using for the height and the width. If I save it, then I come back to class, then I reload the page, you can see we now have it. So it is the width is 100 pixel while the height is 80 pixel. So now, so that's for that, the width and the height attribute. Then we have the alt, the alt attribute, like giving us the alternative information, like more information about the image. We always use it under image. So alt attribute always goes along with the Src. So it's like in case if your image is not loading on time, so it's going to tell us the information about what is inside the image. So let me just give it Nigeria map. So you can put space in between. So the beauty about it is that if your image is not loading appropriately, so you always see it. Now let me give you an example of how you can appreciate that. In case if I close this and now save, if I reload this now, you can see Nigerian map, because it's giving us information about what we have inside the image. So that's the beauty about that. So now let's move on. So we can see that the alt attributes specify an alternate text. That's where they get the alt from, alternate text for an image. So if the image for some reason cannot be displayed, just like what I demonstrated earlier on, so this can be due to slow connection or an error or whatever. So the user can have information about what the image is all about. So that's the essence of the alt, the alt attribute. So now you can see this is an example. We also have the style attribute. I think I did that in the when I was talking about elements. Alright. So the style attribute, that means you can have the style. I think exactly. I also use color red when I was. I think yes, here I think I explained that the style attribute. Then you have the language attribute. I think which is for language, is always on under the title, under the HTML. So this lang attribute. So if you have EN stand for English, FR for French, AR for Arabic, and so on and so forth like that. So in fact, you can even have probably dialects. For English, you can have the United States English, EN US, then for Britain, and so on and so forth. Then we have the title attribute. The title attribute is normally you have the title attribute. For example, if you want to give a title to your element, so you use it to add extra information about an element. Attribute defines some extra information about an element. The value of the title attribute will be displayed as a tooltip when you mouse over the element. So then so on and so forth. I think that would be that for attribute, so that we won't waste time on that. And basically I've been able to show you what attribute is all about. Attribute is like an adjective, something like that in our English. So while just the same way adjectives tells us more about the noun, so attribute tells us more about the element itself.